had it. I know you haven't had a.
I like it. I like the way you guys have the sanitary dispensers all around, and everyone's cleaning all the time.
Oh yeah, the protocols.
I like that.
Yeah, for sure. But all of the exhibitry is new as well. So, you know, compared, we did it in stages. So if you've been here the past couple of years, you've seen some, but now it's, with the exception of 2 galleries, it's all.
Yeah, I like what you did with Center Court. Yeah. I like what you did with that.
Yeah, it's a lot brighter.
Yeah.
A lot more going on. I got that huge big screen.
Yeah.
It kind of adds to the ambiance of it all.
Yeah, I went to the section where you had the media availability last year upstairs.
Yes.
I like what you've done in there.
Yeah, well, thank you. Good. I'm glad to hear that. We've had great reactions.
Yes. So, you guys were closed for 6 months because of coronavirus, and of course the renovations you've done. How's the reaction you've gotten from fans like me that just came in and been blown away?
Sure. Well, first of all, what we learned this year, we were very excited. We have a brand new, basically a brand new museum to show people, but we had to be closed from February to finish our construction. We thought we would open up at the end of March, and then we finally, because of COVID, extended that and opened up on July 8th. But what we learned was not only do you need to have a great attraction and museum experience, but first and foremost, people are thinking about protocols. And if I'm going to go somewhere, how safe is it for my family? You know, so it used to be, what is the experience? How much does it cost? And how far is it from my house? The first thing now is do they have the right protocols in place, and can I trust this place to be a safe visiting opportunity for my family? And so we worked very hard. You probably saw downstairs the list of protocols that we're doing, all the standard ones that you see at a retail store, but we have a clean team, we have added staff so that we're moving people through and people aren't congregating at exhibitry. We have a lot of touch screens, so we have a stylus pen that we give all of our visitors, so they're not touching touch screens, but just the stylus pen is, and they're allowed to keep that, so they can take that with them as a memento of the visit. And we've got air handling systems that are generating a UV filter so that germs are being killed. We're bringing in more fresh air, and that's just the COVID protocols, not necessarily redoing the museum with some terrific exhibitry. You know, when we first opened this iteration, this is our 3rd home here in Springfield. We started on the campus of Springfield College with a tiny facility, then came down to the riverfront next door in 1985, and we opened up this museum in 2001. But we were right at the cusp of the digital age, and our budget didn't allow us to be a leader. So we were a little less than an exciting. We were more a 2-dimensional kind of museum, kind of a lot of reading and some artifacts. And obviously the way we consume information has changed a lot, since 2001. So we have totally redone the museum with a lot of immersive technology that really grabs you and educates you more about a Hall of Famer or a great moment in basketball or about overcoming some obstacles. The example I like to give is in the old style, in the old museum, this current building, 2002 building, we had our honors ring up on the 3rd floor. And if a individual came and brought their grandchild or child in and said, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was the best center of all time. And that 12-year-old or 14-year-old kid would see 2.5 paragraphs of information and a plaque way up in the sky. And that would be it. And so, you know, you and I can't argue that, but maybe a 12 or a 14-year-old doesn't have the context to see how that was, what was Kareem's career all about. Well, now the way that we do it in our new Ring of Honor, which is highly digitized, we are able, that same 12-year-old or 14-year-old with his grandfather or grandmother or parent can come in, and you can literally, on a 55-inch touchscreen, choose Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And you've got that same picture, and you've got an updated biography, but then you start to scroll through a wonderful series of pictures of his career, from Power Memorial to UCLA to Milwaukee to the Lakers to breaking the record. And then you get to the video. So now you've got a 14-year-old kid sitting there, and he's able to touch the video and see Kareem playing at Power Memorial.
Right.
17 years old, just a couple of years older than this kid. Now that the kid has a full context of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Yes.
and when grandpa or mom says the best center of all time, the kid goes, yeah, I can see it, right?
Right.
So that's telling a deeper story, a more rich story, bringing more content together, having, I don't want to say one of a kind, that Power Memorial is not just, we just don't have that, but not many people do. And it's really kind of digging back in and kind of showing the platform of Kareem in basketball.
Right.
So we're very excited about it. We opened up July 8th. We're operating at about 30% of the numbers that we would do in a previous summer.
Right.
But because of COVID, we have not had a 60 days of summer promotion, which is usually we bring in some Hall of Famers,
Right.
basketball celebrities, writers, and obviously no one's traveling this summer. So
Right.
we're happy to be open. We're happy that people are pleased with our experience, and we look forward to having more fans come as time goes on. But the protocols are especially important to us to make sure that people arrive, feel safe, and we asked them on the way out, how was
Right.
your visit and how were the protocols, and so we get thumbs up, and we're going to continue that kind of focus.
Yeah, a lot of people are looking toward this year's enshrinement, which obviously has gotten pushed back because of COVID.
Right.
Have you guys sat down and started planning, like, how you want to do both of the enshrinements next year, or
Yeah,
just
so
still
it's-
early stages?
Yeah, enshrinement was supposed to be in August, and it's funny, I know in the first week in January when we all came back from holiday, I gathered my staff together, and 2020 really was going to be the year of years for the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And this was early January before Kobe
Yeah.
unfortunately passed. So
Yes.
I said to my staff, think about this, what's ahead of us. The class of 2020, Kobe, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett,
Garnett.
and many others.
Yes.
Class of classes, it'll be great. We have the new museum. We're going to open up in May. And that's great. Everybody's going to love it. We're working very hard on that. We have a commemorative coin that the U.S. Mint put out.
Yes.
And that was supposed to be introduced at the Final Four, and unfortunately that didn't happen. So we introduced that in the summertime with less fanfare, of course.
Right.
And then we also, for the first time, we had one of our sponsored Hall of Fame branded collegiate basketball games taking place in London. We had Michigan and Kentucky, and it was selling tremendously. So you go from that first week in January to what was going to be a wonderful year. It was just like a breakout year for the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And then Kobe passes, and then that's sad enough. But then the effect of COVID and everything changed. So we were supposed to be in August with this wonderful class. We have canceled that.
Yeah.
There's a small chance we could do it later this year, and another maybe better chance that we would do it early next year.
Right.
We don't want to combine the classes because we think each class deserves its own recognition.
Right.
We don't want to just delay a year because that's not fair to the class of 2021. Paul Pierce is first time eligible, and to say to him, I'm sorry, due to circumstances, your first year you're eligible, we're gonna delay it a year. So the worst case scenario would be to have maybe in the first quarter or the first 4 months of 2021, the class of 2020
Right.
enshrinement, and then go back to September of 2021
Right.
for the class
Around
of
the original
2020.
format.
Yeah. So, and what I've learned, I think it's important to keep the classes kind of together, because what I've learned over the years is that there's a lot of friendships made.
Yes.
Class members may know each other, but there's a lot of class members that maybe weren't part of the regular circle, and they come together, almost like a high school class or something, and they're bonded by
Right.
their enshrinement year. And I've seen some great friendships arise that you wouldn't expect between an NBA player and a women's college coach, or
Right.
some things like that. That bond is really strong. So we think it's important that they have the opportunity to each be recognized in their own class.
I think pushing this back to next year is a good thing in a way in a bad situation, because you guys have more time to plan for the unknown, and hopefully later on in the year there'll be a vaccine, or they'll come up with ways to better contain the situation and everyone's safe.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to have some sort of clarity on when, because the answer is if you don't do it on this date, when can you do it? Well, no one knows. And the one thing we've all learned is we're not in control of this, right? So all we can do is do the what ifs and do the planning, and so at this point we're looking at a couple of what ifs out there, and we're hoping as you say, a vaccine,
right.
or something else happens to the virus, or whatever occurs, we're going to make sure, first of all, as we are with the visitors that are coming into our museum, that anyone that comes to enshrinement is going to be safe.
Right.
We have their health, first and foremost. So as we make a decision to go wherever we go to do that, the facilities have to be right, the moving people around has to be right, the hotel environment has to be right, their ability to travel to this area has to be right. So
right.
A lot of moving parts that in years past we didn't give a second thought to.
Yeah, this is going to be a big process because we all know Air Enshrinement, there's fans from all over the world that comes down. I remember last year they had fan came from China, I believe.
Yes.
It was crazy. Like.
Yeah, we expected this enshrinement was almost sold out by the end of April. We had some tickets left, but so the fan interest was very, very strong. I mean,
yes.
Very strong. So this is it's unfortunate in so many ways that we can't stay with this calendar, but like I said before, we're not in control, and we're going to have to play it out. But we're like everyone else, we're stepping up and doing what we think we need to do.
I think the loss of Kobe, of course, it's a bad thing, but I mean, enshrinement-wise, it's going to be more people that's going to come to see how you guys memorialize him.
Yeah, so we one of the unfinished exhibits here is a Kobe Bryant exhibit. It's of his career, and we have a marketing partner, Panini Trading Cards, who also is associated with Kobe. So we're working together on one of the unfinished galleries out here so far. That should be done by, I'm hoping, the end of September. So we'll have a nice, not only his Ring of Honor presence and his presence throughout the museum in different places, but a gallery that's dedicated to his career, great moments in his career, and rightfully so. Unfortunately, he passed. We would very likely do this if he was still with us today.
Right.
Obviously. So we're excited about that coming up, and there is a big appetite for that. But you're right about the international interest.
Yes.
This year there was significant international interest, and we hope that continues, because we've had Yao Ming in the past, and other people that have Dennis Rodman, I think, had a footprint in China and some support. So that's going to grow as we go forward.
So